I'm John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
I'm Taylor Hagood.
and this is It's Movie Time. And if you couldn't figure it out from our announcer, I think we have a southern motif going on here for the show. I think Taylor was born in Tennessee, would that be correct?
North Mississippi.
Oh, North Mississippi.
Yeah.
But you have a Tennessee background, right?
My dad's
Your dad.
side of the family is from
Yeah, that's
Tennessee, and Ripley, Mississippi is right on the
Right.
state line.
So, Tay is an active publisher, and he's a professor at Florida Atlantic University, highly published, blah, blah, blah. He is actually an expert in William Faulkner, and one of my absolute favorites when you're talking about Southern literature. But today he's selected Tennessee Williams. What's that all about? Tay, why?
Well, despite his name, he is a Mississippian also.
Oh, he is, that's right.
So he and Faulkner and Eudora Welty and Richard Wright are the big writers historically from the state.
All right.
So yeah.
And what do you have for us today?
Well, I was hoping we could look at and think about some of the films, some of the great films from Tennessee Williams's plays, and three that are maybe quite as iconic or as known. I think they're still amazing films, and I think a lot of people know them, but they're not maybe quite as iconic as Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or
Sure.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Right? Or Glass Menagerie.
Or Glass Menagerie.
Which, for our audience, I'll bet that's the one most of them have seen.
Perhaps so.
Yeah.
Perhaps so.
A lot of high school productions.
Right. Well, at least film-wise, I think probably those other two films. There have been a few films of Glass Menagerie, but I think probably those other two are probably the more so. But we're looking at The Fugitive Kind, it's based on the play Orpheus Descending, and Night of the Iguana, and The Rose Tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's so interesting to me because as much as I love what he does in the adaptations, it's almost always the actor and actresses that I'm
I'm with you. Yeah.
they're the vehicle. It seems to be so good for high-class actors.
It really is. And he worked with so many of the great actors. I mean, in these films were Marlon Brando, Anna Magnani,
Yes.
Richard Burton, Ava Gardner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just
Yeah.
Deborah Carr. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
one amazing. But then throughout his career, he was really working with these just top figures, and he was so dominant, really, in the middle of the 20th century, Tennessee Williams.
And what he did for women, Elizabeth
Yes.
Taylor, for
Of
instance.
course, Elizabeth Taylor.
And as a gay man,
Mm-hmm.
he was bringing something really new to the stage and then into Hollywood.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think that's a really interesting topic, actually, trying to think about how certain sensibilities and of course, The Glass Menagerie is so autobiographical, and it's really that opening into understanding, I think, how he brings that background, his own personal background,
Right.
his life experiences, all of these things into play. They're in that play, but they really do play out in these other films and plays as well.
Yeah, and you know, in looking at his filmography and his drama, it's an enormous amount of material. Now, he had some losers,
He did.
you know,
That's
as
true.
is always going to be the case, right?
Yes.
It kind of goes down and
Right.
then comes back up again, but
Right.
I don't think he ever really was able to get back from later in his career.
Probably not, and he had turned also to writing a lot of poetry. He did write some fiction along the way, and I think it's hard for anybody to stay on top. And of course, all his life he was moving around a lot. He was in Key West, he was in Rome,
Okay.
he was in New York a lot. So I don't know, some of that maybe as time went on, that maybe caught up with him in some ways as well.
And he has a connection to Truman Capote. They're related.
Well, yes, indeed. I don't know. I actually don't know all the details of
Seventh cousin,
that.
once removed. I don't know what once removed means, but it's
Well, that is a very southern thing to say, I think. I have a few of those, first cousins once removed.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, but,
I think it just means second cousin.
yeah, but you can see some long-term connection
Yeah.
between the two.
Absolutely. They were both very colorful, flamboyant personalities in the same era. I think Capote might have been a little younger.
Okay, yeah, and he was a Pulitzer Prize winner twice,
Indeed, yes,
both for A Streetcar Named Desire
right,
and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
right.
Now, they're two familiar titles to our audience, even if they
Iconic.
haven't seen it.
Iconic.
Talk to me about Fugitive Kind.
Yeah.
Now, here's what he said about Brando.
Okay.
He said, he loves the light. See how the light
Yeah,
shines through him. I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
right.
Well, and as a gay man, I can understand that.
Of course, yeah.
That Brando would, as I look at Brando.
Well,
And Brando looks like he's 6'3", and yet I think he's only 5'10".
I know. He was, of course, the big breakout was Streetcar, and he had been Stanley Kowalski originally on stage as well. And the camera was great to him then. There's this apocryphal story, I don't know if it's true, you all probably know it, that when Clark Gable was removing his clothing and it happened one night that the t-shirt sales went down because he didn't have one on, and that they came back when Marlon Brando was in Streetcar Named Desire. I don't know if that's true. But when I think about that film, and then later on now The Fugitive Kind, he shows up, and it's a film in which I think the lighting, we were talking about this off the air,
Yes.
the lighting I think is so interesting. You have these low lighting moments, and there's this, early in the film when he shows up in this Mississippi town, the lighting is from below and it kind of goes up through the rain. It looks like some kind of German expressionist kind of thing. And then, yes, his look, I mean, the look of Marlon Brando, I think, is so powerful, as well as with Anna Magnani. I think they make an interesting pair, actually.
Oh, what they really do. Now, you have an inclination to like Italian women.
I do have a weakness, it's true.
Probably even better when they're middle-aged, right? Whatever it is that you like, and I share it with you.
No, they're amazing. And Anna Magnani, of course, was from Rome originally, and I think she died there. And she was a Roman actress, and she was this very volcanic figure. And I thought she looked fantastic in that movie, and was so visually powerful, but also the acting, I thought is just right. I think it's just dead on.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say something else, though, about The Fugitive Kind. I guess maybe even moving it a little bit away from the actors, if that's okay.
No, yeah.
You know, really with all three of these films, there's a kind of image or symbol at the heart of it. You know, the rose tattoo, there's the rose, you know.
Right.
But there's also this animal stuff, so you have Mangiacavalli, Eat the Horse, you know, character that Burt Lancaster plays. And that,
Yes.
but in The Fugitive Kind, which we're talking about now, you have the idea of snakeskin, the snakeskin
Yes,
jacket
yes.
that Brando's wearing. And very young Joanne Woodward comes in, oh, snakeskin. And there's this kind of ideas, can he shed his snakeskin? You know, it's almost a heavy-handed kind of metaphor in a way.
Oh, he does. He doesn't appear to have any problem with that.
He has no, you know,
The Rose, even if her last name is Rose.
he doesn't matter. And you know, you think about it, one of your favorites, Flannery O'Connor,
Yes.
is one of the real, it doesn't bother her in the least to get heavy-handed with images or symbols. But he kind of pulls it off. And I think part of that is, I've been thinking about that a lot
Yeah.
ahead of talking. I think a lot of that has to do with his background. Obviously, he was very influenced by Chekhov's playwriting,
Right.
Tennessee Williams, but his other really big influence was Hart Crane,
Yes.
who was this incredible
Tragic.
poet that tragic story.
Yeah.
Nobody really, I don't know if enough people really read his work. I think The Bridge is the greatest poem, even better than Leaves of Grass, to be honest.
Okay.
In American history. But, you know, and he was from Cleveland. You know, by the way, you know, we're in Ohio here. There's a Columbus, Ohio. There's a Columbus, Mississippi, which is where Tennessee Williams is from. There's a Cleveland, Ohio. There's actually a Cleveland, Mississippi, you know. But Hart Crane was from Cleveland, Ohio. And there was actually a Bohemian. When I think of Ohio, it's probably the least bohemian place I can imagine.
You think?
But Cleveland, Ohio actually had its own bohemian scene. They had a thing called the Cocoon Club. And actually, there's a magic connection. The Otis Lithograph Company, a lot of the artists connected with it, people like William Summer, were amazing modern artists.
All right.
His work is in the Met, but he was very close, and there were a number of these people connected with this Cocoon Club with Hart Crane. And they were amazing, but that Otis Lithograph Company had done a lot of those magic posters and circus
Okay,
poster
all right,
lithographs, and even those Frankenstein Universal Pictures posters were done by Otis.
Okay,
The ones
all
with
right.
Marlon, with,
And beautiful.
Those are- those are
They're
beautiful
lovely
art, yeah.
illustrations. There's a small film out now
yeah.
called Lost and Found in Cleveland.
Oh, I don't know it. I'd like to see that.
It's about these traveling antique shows.
Ah,
Martin Sheehan is one of the
Really?
stars. Highly recommended by Ken.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, but it's 9:45. That's late for me. That's the only place that's
Well,
playing.
I understand what you mean, but I would say this about, I did want to say this about Hart Crane. He was one of the masters of image. And I think to that extent, probably that had a big influence on Tennessee Williams, that he's not afraid just to really go at it with that symbolism.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, I know. I mean, Taylor Hagood, my goodness, this has just gone by so fast so far.
Yes.
If people are interested in hearing more of our blather, and I can't believe anybody, Wayne is here in our audience, Wayne Miller,
Yes.
and he has to listen to us. But if anybody else wants to tap into our podcast, you have to go to WCBE.org, the podcast experience, and to our podcast hours, Movie Time Back Talk. So if they want to hear more about what we're going to do. But Taylor, the 3 movies that we're talking about today are available online.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you recommend to our audience? I mean, just generally speaking about our topic, Tennessee Williams and these lesser-known plays. You know, what do you think about a family or anybody going to or getting this online? Do you think it's yes? It's a yes?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right, you think that they're exciting? I think they are.
I think that there's not much on the screen that, in our time, that really deals with this level of depth and intensity with human emotion.
And it appeals especially to me because I'm a guy who probably started with theater and went to film. I don't know which one I like better.
Yeah, I don't
But
know
there's a
either.
theater aspect to
Yeah.
his.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're shot mainly like a play.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so they're very accessible
Uh-huh.
in that way. But anyway, it's Tennessee Williams, and we still have to talk about the Rose Tattoo and then the Iguana and whatever else we like.
Okay, sounds good.
You'll notice the camera's just slightly angled for that effect.
Okay.
I'm John DeSando.
Cinema, 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 cinema. Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda